was a big question.
And sports now, and all eyes were on the massive El Casino match last night.
The division between the two communities have been the worst for the past 10 years, culminating in violence, damage to property and loss of life.
I'm actually intrigued to find out a bit more about the royal family. I'm actually going to meet a man who claims to understand exactly how they think, what their intentions are, and how they form relationships with the monarchies in the Middle East. With fears of a housing bubble and most families priced out of the market, the average cost of a home in London is at an all-time high. The reason why there's a rainbow effect on the oil mass itself is because when the sun heats the oil that has been embedded here for years, it melts back into the river, polluting it further.
This building behind me, one of the most prominent newspaper buildings in this country, was struck. 9 people died. The building itself completely destroyed.
Hello and welcome to Africa This Week with me, Ayo Johnson. This show looks at the affairs of the African continent, from news to politics to culture and community initiatives. Tatiana, if you could sort of tell me, £35,000, which is what's expected for the average nurse to earn over a 6-year period, is that possible? And if so, what will happen to all those nurses?
Well, no, it is not possible.
It has been an unprecedented year of dissent. We have witnessed some of the largest demonstrations across the Middle East. While some dictators have been toppled, the Arab monarchies have remained in power. This has largely been due to the support from Western powers. But why has the West backed these Arab kingdoms? Monarchies across the Middle East are facing their greatest challenge from their once loyal subjects. In this week's In Focus, I'll be looking at the relationship between the monarchies in the UK and the monarchies across the Middle East.
So we're looking at tomorrow morning's newspapers with Eve Pollard and with Ayo Johnson. And Ayo, back to the Independent if we can.
You know, pretty catastrophic.
I think the Americans have got away lightly on this. It could have been far more worse, especially having all these tall buildings in New York.
The best rule that anyone's ever made up in world sport.
Well, Dwayne Chambers, Christina Urugu have all made mistakes like that. Clearly, the world's fastest man, it could happen to him.
The police officer here is trying to tell me exactly what sort of security measures they have in place. Stop and search, they've got barricades in the roads, just to make sure that no terrorist activities take place in the capital.
I know they sleep.
Why?
When I can't sleep.
You're scared?
If I sleep, I'm going to come and take the gun.
He himself doesn't feel safe. So you can imagine how the rest of Abuja, the citizens of Abuja who do not have ammunition, how do they feel?
A generation that's lost, that's never going to come back. And ultimately, I think security forces understand that, and they've got to intensify their operations, work closely, because the terrorists are very much a global phenomenon. And so I think it's going to take more than individual countries to be able to resolve what is potentially a huge, huge problem for the world moving forward.
Journalist Ayo Johnson, thank you so much.
Crude oil can be a dangerous mix with powerful multinationals, billion-dollar contracts, and unimaginable political influences.
If you drink water here, you are drinking crude. If you eat fish from this water, you are eating on crude.
Shell is the major problem we have in Nigeria today. They are the referees in the field, they are the players in the field, they are the goalkeepers in the field, they are everything.
Meaning Syria will soon overtake the Afghans as the world's biggest refugee population. Ayo Johnson, Arise News. I'd leave you this question: whether the monarchies in the Middle East, their survival is dependent upon this special relationship with the UK. Have a very good evening. Bye-bye.